All right, so it's time. We're gonna go in a little heavy topic now. So I don't think there's anything lately in the news going. Well, yes, there is. Yes, there is. But you see a lot of times people try to equate treatment in certain areas to like if they were treated bad publicly, they're like, oh, they're trying to lynch me. Or with current things going on now, you start talking about speak of like segregation and comparing it to segregation. So with that, like I wanted to ask you, what do you think about like when people compare their treatment in present day to, slavery or, saying that something's a modern day slavery other than the prison industrial complex, but that's another topic for another day. Um, Modern day slavery or lynching or segregation or something that happened to Black people throughout the course of history in this country. So, what do you think when they make those comparisons?
First of all, if you are not a descendant of a slave, you're not a descendant of anybody who had the fucking fire hoses sprayed on them, dogs sicked on them, spit on, beat, fucking lynched. Hell, they still lynching us fucking
I was
now.
gonna say you don't have to be a descendant, man. That's a relative, man. That's
you know what I'm saying.
A generation or two ago.
If you haven't even been nowhere connected to that in any sort of way, your DNA, because I can't say I'm connected to it because I wasn't there. But you know what I'm saying? It's in our DNA. We had somebody that was there in some form, fashion, way, somehow, and every other melanin person that's around right now has. And for somebody to say, "Oh, they're trying to lynch me or segregation," and this is modern day slavery, no, the fuck is not. Because the same motherfuckers that saying that shit is at the top of the fucking totem pole, but you still fucking complaining. Fuck out of here, man. Yeah. And that just reminded me of a fucking story. You know what I'm saying? We're having with Keontae this week. Fucking, he goes to school. And I guess they're at recess playing or whatever. And, the little Caucasian kid said, "You're going to be my slave," or "You're my slave," or some shit like that. Boy, when I heard that shit, man, I almost fucking put on my all black with my African medallion and my fucking beret and shit with my black boots. Just go down.
Bring out the black Air Force Ones, bro.
But, all these cases where they try to compare it, when there really isn't no fucking comparison, because hell, our people are still getting treated the same way, maybe a little bit more under the cover, under the rug, just a little bit, a little sneakier, i.e. Karens. But you know what I'm saying? We still getting treated the same fucking way. But for them to actually compare it, no, there is no fucking comparison. You cannot compare it. You cannot walk. You have not walked in these shoes. You cannot walk in these shoes because we are who we are. Our skin color makes us a fucking target. You know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot who said it when, or you know what I'm saying? We're considered guilty from birth. We're born black, so we're automatically the fucking enemy already. And for you to try to compare all the things that our ancestors, our relatives, our fellow melanin people have went through, that's a bunch of bullshit. And me personally, it's a fucking spit in our fucking face because you can't compare it. The Keontae thing, so this is how it got handled. You know what I mean? At first, I wanted to root rah. Everybody had their own opinions that I talked to about it. But I decided to, being that his teacher's also a melanin person, I gave her an opportunity to correct it. You know what I'm saying? To educate this kid because he's a kid. And where does racism start? People aren't born racist. You know what I'm saying? There's not a racist chromosome. You know what I'm saying? They're taught this shit. So give this kid a chance to get educated. So he'll be like, "Oh shit, yeah, that is wrong. That is fucked up. Let me not do that no more." But if the shit happens again, boy, it's gonna be smoking a motherfucking city. I'm going all the way the fuck off. I'm telling you, bro, I'm going all the way off. But that's really all I think about the questions you asked. I know I had to add a little bit in there, you know what I'm saying, with my son and stuff like that. Because the fact of the matter is, our generation before us has been dealing with this racism shit. Generation before them, hell, generation after us, our kids is walking into it now. You know what I'm saying? And one day, hopefully at the end, don't try to compare yourself to some shit that you really don't have any kind of clue about. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a clue about being discriminated. You don't have a clue about walking into the fucking store and have a motherfucker following you, asking you, "Can I help you? Can I help you?" 1,000 fucking times. That shit That shit happened to us last month. We went to the exotic pet store.
Mm-hmm.
Chick kept walking around asking us, do we need help? I'm like, bitch, if I want a goddamn snake or oversized guinea pig, I'll let you know. Otherwise, leave me the fuck alone. The fuck? But you know, so if you ain't never been in these shoes, don't try to walk in them. You ain't built like that. So what do you think?
All right. So when I think about it and I hear it, you hear usually, like you mentioned, it's usually somebody of privilege trying to compare it. Um, if you are a millionaire, hell, if you have, a good life, whatever, the shit can't compare. Don't even try. Um, you know, like there was a brother, well, I think in Oregon that they're talking about on the news right now that they shot him and it got recorded for I guess talking to a white lady.
Oh, you talking about his first name's Barry or something like that. I seen that yesterday.
Yeah. So I mean,
and that fuck boy got second-degree manslaughter.
Oh, they charged him for something.
Second-degree manslaughter. That was fucking murder, bro.
Yeah. But anyway. So when you got situations like that still happening today, I mean, Emmett Till. I mean, you could name so many names and the shit doesn't compare. I mean, if you're not in a position to where, you are physically harm is brought to your person or you lose your life based on a lot of times something to no fault of your own, shit doesn't compare. Now, if they said some bad shit about you on social media or your approval rating is low or you lose some friends or you lose some sponsorships, get the fuck out of here.
In no way that compares, bro.
Shit doesn't even compare. I will say, and it may be controversial for some, but I know a lot of times you're hearing now that they're comparing like whether you got the shot or not to segregation. And I see the comparison, but that's a very, 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 I mean, and I have my thoughts, and that could be a whole nother topic for another day on that, but similarities, but not the same. Definitely not the same. You're not having somebody beat your ass because you decide to not have a particular status. You know what I'm saying? You don't run the risk of someone trying to end your life for the particular choice that you made, whether I agree with your choice or not. But I mean, and that's what was happening then. I mean, and you can talk about, slavery is more than just the slavery that happened here in the US. I mean, look through history. I mean, any culture that has slaves, that shit wasn't no fucking picnic. Shit wasn't like roses and, we got to go have meetings and parties and dinners and brunches and all that shit afterwards. That shit wasn't no fucking picnic. This shit doesn't compare. What you need to do is open a fucking dictionary or type the shit in Microsoft Word and look for a synonym and expand your vocabulary to find a better word. That's what you need to do. Consider that comparison off limits to you. It shouldn't even be a thing. The thing that kills me though is like you'll see like this outrage about like teaching about how slavery was bad or the treatment of African Americans throughout the country's inception to now and all that shit. And you can call it CRE or CRT. You can just call it history. But at the same time, you hear about like these schools, like in I think Utah, Oregon, or somewhere over there, where they're like, you hear they're teaching slavery. Was slavery really that bad? The pros and cons of slavery. Let's have a mock slave trade.
Well, that shit had me hot.
Boy, the hypocrisy of it, man, is just fucking ridiculous, man. How can you say in one breath that you don't want to teach it, but then on the next breath, you're talking about how, oh, there's some pros and there's some cons. Get the fuck out of here.
What the fuck is a pro?
Oh, they're saying the pros are like, shit. I saw like they posted like a picture online of like a pro and con sheet of like, I don't fucking remember. I try to remove this stupid shit out of my memory, but that's kind of like what I'm saying is like, stop making that dumb fucking comparison. It doesn't compare, so don't try. Find a better analogy. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I had. I was checking my notes real quick to see if I had anything else, but it doesn't compare. Stop it. It's fucking stupid. It's
Yep.
fucking insensitive. It's borderline racist, and it's just ignorant. I mean, you pick your word. It probably applies to that situation.
Oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And it's just one of those things, man, where education is key, man. Like they're trying to, not allow which was the acronym CRT,
Mm-hmm. But see, I
critical
don't even
race theory,
care if you call it CRT. Just
because it's
tell
history.
it's history. Tell the full
Yeah,
story. I
it's
mean,
just history.
shit that I'm talking about is not saying, one race is superior to another. Just tell the
Right.
whole fucking story. That's it.
And
That's really it.
and I'm not plugging because I'm not even gonna mention it, but mention the name. But that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, man. And I don't know if you caught the last couple of episodes, but I'm actually exploring shit just like that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't fucking know of. You know what I'm saying? Like it's amazing how much history omits and a lot of interesting stories, a lot of interesting people that are taking out of stories in history, because I guess to the victor goes the spoils or whatever the fuck, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, or the victor writes the history or whatever. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of history there that can provide us with more understanding of each other. Like, they say, oh, we don't want CRT or whatever in our schools because it's going to further divide us. No, the fuck it's not. It's going to educate these kids so they'll be better than we are.
But see, I think what happens is it becomes a boogeyman, and you get, your talking heads of choice telling you that this is what you should be afraid of. And so you go with that with, very little information, and you can frame it as, what if we teach about this? Or, I mean, Texas basically said, fuck all that shit. You can teach it a damn thing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's where education is so important, and not just what you get in schools, but,
Definitely.
there's so much out there that you need to learn. And,
Yeah.
you won't plug it, but I can. Shit like the Melanin Warriors podcast gives you information that, you wouldn't necessarily see. And I mean, and I won't say super versed in certain historical occurrences, but I know a little bit to be dangerous. And I learn shit every week when
Thanks,
he
man.
posts on a Sunday. I'm a little behind, but I got to catch up. And yeah, so stop it again.
Yeah.
Do your history, learn your history, learn
Educate.
the history,
Mm-hmm.
and don't be scared of, you know, the parts that aren't rosy and beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
some ugly shit, and
Mm-hmm.
the reason why you learn it is so you don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what it's really about.
Hell yeah. And I know a lot of times when I'm recording, I be tempted, you know what I'm saying, to cut out the ugly shit. There's some ugly shit, just not what was done to our people, but a lot of shit that we did to our own people. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, no, all that shit's gonna come out
Mm-hmm.
because it needs to be told, man. It needs to be shared.
Yeah.
It's good. History is good. Like I said with the incident with Keontae, that's why I said I'm gonna get his teacher in the school a chance to educate this young man, and not just completely go the fuck off with your daddy and bitch we fighting in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but then the other thing I worry about too is if, say, that teacher tried to take it on herself to educate, I don't want like the school board or, like some parent teacher conference or some coalition to come out against her and be saying some slick shit and try to get her fired.
then
So
I hope Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Fowl Language Podcast, the Melanin Warriors Podcast, the Open Mic Debates, every single body needs to be standing with me, bro, because I'm not letting that shit happen, bro.
Damn right.
I refuse. I don't give a fuck about my occupation, my status. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I refuse to let that happen.
So in those particular cases, you'll be fine.
Indeed.
You might have some extra paperwork and talkings to give, but those are fine. A lot of the trainings you take, I have to take. And in those particular cases, it specifically states that you're fine.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Got her back 1,000%.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I got, man. Like you said, you can't compare it. Stop trying to fucking compare it. And
and
like
use
always,
another word. I mean, there are times when people are treated badly. There are times when people are treated wrong. Call it for what it is. Don't try to use some analogy to make it seem worse than what it really is.
Most definitely. Without a fucking shadow of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to my son's teacher, man. I hope I'm pronouncing the name, Miss Gartman. Shout out to you for taking it upon yourself to educate this young man and handle that situation very professionally. I know she probably ain't gonna see this. She might not. I'm gonna tell Janae to text her and let her know we shouted out on this episode to check it out. But
shout out to her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely.
Perfect.